Hey, I want to quickly go over elbow cars and knee cars because they're the two that, at least at the last few seminars when I'm helping out, it's the two rotations that I get waved over for with help the most. So I just want to go over a little better explanation as to how to perform them properly. I think people kind of get a little confused as mostly hinge joints what exactly we're asking for. So what I see go wrong most often is usually with someone not who's more stiff, but actually more flexible. I train a lot of yoga people, so this is something that comes up that when I describe cars as expressing the most range of motion the joints can have under control, they just try and make the circle bigger, but at the expense of adding in shoulder, glenohumeral joint to it. So what I end up seeing is when they supinate, they end up getting a lot of external rotation from their shoulder joint as well. So when they end up coming out, they end up coming to the side of their body, pronating, coming all the way back in. They almost make like a cat's eye shape with their arm because they're trying to express as much range of motion as possible. They end up externally rotating their shoulders as well. I just wanted to describe what we're asking for with the elbow car. So from this position, if you're keeping your hand here as a check, we're trying to supinate as much as possible, but not externally rotate the shoulder with it. So I come here, I supinate as much as I can, and there I flex, I pronate as much as I can, extend. Supinate, flex, pronate, extend. I'm also keeping this hand as a cue. I'm trying not to push my elbow into my body or letting it leave my body as all. I want it to stay in contact. If you're working one-on-one with somebody, you could also give them the cue. This might not be the best cue for a Kinstretch class, but if you're working one-on-one with somebody, if you're watching them from the front, you're making sure that they rotate down the axis of the ulna. So when I pronate from this position, I want to make sure that I'm rotating the radius over the ulna and not the other way around. I don't want the radius to stay still and then the ulna to come around to the other side. Usually that means that there's something going on with the elbow capsule. So once again, I don't want to see this large coming out to the side circle. What I want is supination, flex, pronate, extend. It's not as common, but a very similar thing can happen with the knee cars as well. The hip ends up getting involved. Usually, once again, it's usually a more flexible person, the yoga people that I train, but when they're going through it, since they're trying to get as much range of motion as possible, they're actually rotating from their hip a little bit as well. So their foot comes all the way out to the side, it swings out here, then when they come back in, they're bringing it all the way into here. They don't realize that they're actually getting internal and external rotation from the hip. So for those people, I usually cue them just to hug their leg in a little tighter, whether they're doing this grip or if they just keep it in close. The more contact they have with their leg, they'll actually feel that more motion is coming from the femur and not just the knee. We want to see that just the tibia externally rotates, extend, tibia internally rotates, flex, vice versa. We want to make sure that the hip isn't coming into it to bring these large circles into play. We're trying to just express as much motion in the knee as possible. All right, hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.